Hi, everybody. Ron Placone here. Not too terribly long ago, I was visiting my family in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And I was sitting on the couch, and my grandmother was sitting near me. My grandmother is 98 years old, and we were watching the news. It was just the evening 5 o'clock news. And Rick Santorum came on the television. And my grandmother said, she got a frown on her face, and she said, "Oh, come on, Rick Santorum. You're not going to be president." And I was staring over at her, a very, very proud grandson. And she looked over at me, not realizing I could totally hear what she said because she said it pretty loud. Her hearing's not so great. She is 98 years old. And she said, "Oh, don't mind me, Ronnie." She calls me Ronnie. People that have known me for 20 plus years do call me that. She said, "Oh, don't mind me, Ronnie. I'm just talking to myself." And I said, "No, grandmother, turn up the volume. You are correct. He's not going to be president. Rick Santorum, come on, man. It's time to hang up your hat." First of all, Rick Santorum's brand of social conservatism is so extreme that it is extremely dated at this point. It is in no way reflexive of the status quo outside of a couple fringe groups that are dwindling in numbers by the day. It's over, Rick Santorum. You're about as dated as the Macarena on a Walkman. You're done. You are the electric slide mixed with, I don't know, I can't even think of something. Bell bottoms and you're dated. It's over. The party's over, Rick Santorum. That's where you're at. And now Rick Santorum has gone a step further and is burning the few bridges he has left. Recently, Rick Santorum criticized the Pope for talking about climate change, saying, "Leave climate change to the scientists," something that it's very interesting that he's saying that at a time when it's convenient for him. Now, keep in mind, Pope Francis, whether you like him or not, the guy also has a background in chemistry, which puts him in a camp of people more qualified to talk about issues of science than Rick Santorum. Other groups in that camp include anybody that's passed a freshman biology class, most other politicians, and anybody that believes the earth is round. But anyway, Rick Santorum still said, "Oh, he shouldn't be talking about this. The scientists should be talking about it." When he was called out for that, since Rick Santorum is a practicing Catholic himself, he kind of backpedaled and said, "Oh, well, look, I just think that he should be talking about theology and morality. That's his area of expertise." And they said, "Well, are you qualified to be talking about it, Rick Santorum?" To which Rick Santorum replied, "Well, I am a politician, and I have things to say in regards about policy in America," which he's absolutely right. That is true. Politicians should have some thoughts on climate change and stuff like that. I'll agree with him there that is a true statement just in and of itself. But so many people on the right, himself included, would always just say, "Well, I'm not a scientist, blah, 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 blah." They always say that when it's convenient for them. So Rick Santorum got stuck in a web, a Santorum web, if I dare, of his own pure propaganda and his own talking points that at this point are just any grabs that he can get at getting some media attention by criticizing this Pope, saying, "Oh, he shouldn't be talking about climate change," even though he actually has a science background as well as a background of theology, which, yes, you can differentiate the two and you can study the two. It just takes thinking a little bit harder and separating one from the other and acknowledging the fact that if you are a person of faith and you do have faith and belief, that faith and belief goes over here. And science exploration does not contradict your faith and belief. On the contrary, you can look at it as a way of uncovering the mysteries that the supreme being you worship left for you to uncover. But that's a whole different story, and I'm hoping that perhaps Pope Francis does fall into that category. I don't know one way or the other, and it's not really all that applicable to what we're talking about. But Rick Santorum, point is, time to hang up the hat. Spend some more time with your family. You know, that family that you exploited in every campaign commercial you ever had because you wanted to pull at any heartstring you could to try to get votes. Start apologizing now. Just be like, "Hey, sorry about those videos. You've probably been made fun of relentlessly in school since 2006. But you know me, I was really trying to win. And as the past few presidential elections may have indicated to you, I kind of hang on the delusion for as long as I can. By the way, they're going to find those WMDs in Iraq any day now. I'm Rick Santorum." The point is, Rick Santorum is a parody of himself. He always has been. He's a blank suit. He always has been. He played the fringe far-right religious card back at a time where issues of gay rights and issues of gay marriage were way more taboo than they are today. He adopted that stance. He never really dropped it. He lives this delusion that the far evangelical religious extreme right is reflexive of our general populace. It is not. And in fact, those types of fringe beliefs are diminishing. They're still out there, certainly, but they are diminishing. And I would argue that these past few election cycles have indicated they're diminished to the point where having those types of extreme views are not going to get you elected into the position of president. Rick Santorum, at best, belongs as maybe a representative of a district that would be far right enough to elect him. And that's as far as he's going to get. I would prefer he writes children's books or something like that, or just goes away. Just go do something else. Maybe he could have a show on Fox News and kind of appeal to some of those people, and then occasionally give the rest of us some low-hanging fruit as he provides now. Once every 4 years, he'll be out of the cycle, I'm thinking, in a couple hours. This is Ron Placone signing out.